Yo, what's good? Welcome back to krabstrades. Today we're going to be doing a quick trade recap, pretty much what I saw here to take this trade right here. Called out at entry, right at entry. Pretty much what I saw here. Did I just say called out at entry, right at entry? That's crazy. Alright, but yeah, called out at entry, right at entry. Pretty much what I saw here was on the 4 hour. If we go on the weekly, we were super bullish, right? We're trading at all-time highs. And let's just redo all of our analysis. So we'll redo all the analysis and just go over exactly what I saw here to take this trade. Also, I'm going to turn off the execution so that it's a clean chart. But yeah, we're at all-time highs here, right? So let's mark up all-time highs. That's the first thing that my eye went to. All-time highs right there. Same thing on ES. We'll mark that up. And right here, what do I see? I saw that we're closing above this wick on the weekly time frame. So this is a weekly market structure shift right there. So with that, I'm super bullish because we closed above the wick. We also ended up retapping this weekly breaker block right here. So higher time frame, I'm kind of developing my bias right now, and this was the breaker block right here because it was a low, high, lower low, also took out liquidity and ran higher, displaced, closed above the wick, and it actually retapped the breaker as well, rejected, went back towards all-time highs. So right now I'm developing my higher time frame bias. So starting on the weekly, also what I see here is a unfilled weekly fair value gap. So I don't care about this right now because it is far away, but if we do start closing shifting structure like on the daily or the 4 hour, then that could be the next target later on. But until we start to shift that structure on the daily or the 4 hour, I'm just still remaining very bullish. So if we go down to the daily now, what do I see right here, right? Boom, daily order block right there. If you guys know how I use order blocks, I teach it in exclusive. But yeah, pretty much also look at this right here. Boom, CE of the order block, beautiful rejection. And you can see how we're just rejecting this order block so beautifully, right? So with that higher time frame rejection, that's kind of telling me that we're still very bullish. We're rejecting bullish PD rays and we're disrespecting bearish PD rays. So you can see like order block here, we ended up closing above it, right? Boom, another order block here, ended up closing above it. So everything's telling me right now on the daily time frame that we're still very bullish towards all-time highs. So now when I go down to the lower time frames, I want to be trading aligned with this time frame. So ideally I want to be looking for longs, right? So let's go down to the 4 hour. What do I see here on the 4 hour? I believe we had we had a SMT at this low. So ES took out this low and Q did not, and what happened? Strong ass wick out, rejected, ran higher. So that's just another thing. We're still respecting everything. Also the SMT was actually pretty nice SMT. So this is an external SMT because it's on the 4 hour time frame. It's on that pretty significant time frame right there. And what else do I see here? All right, I'm still trying to see, is the 4 hour time frame still bullish or is it bearish? So next thing I see, we're closing above this wick, right? Bullish market structure shift on the 4 hour right there. And what else do I see? Order block right here. We wicked into it. Here I'll actually count the wick of it as well since it just wicked into it. But we're still respecting bullish PD rays as well as this inverse order block here. You can see we also kept wicking into it. And I'm looking at the reaction. So immediate reaction out, right? Now if we closed below this order block, then potentially, we could keep running lower. But all these rejections are telling me that we're still bullish, and rejections are one of the main ways that I trade. I basically stack a ton of rejections. Look right here once again. So right now we had a 4 hour rebalance as well, unfilled 4 hour gap rebalanced. And what happened after? Did we close below it or did we not close below it? And we had a strong ass wick out, which led to a market structure shift. So really looking at the higher time frame and developing like that story is kind of what I do. And then I'll keep going down the time frames. Also here on the 4 hour, what do we have right here? For value gap here on the 4 hour, right? And I like to mark up the CE of it. which is just the 50%. So right there, for example. And another way I determine my kind of bias, as well as I just keep stacking if we're respecting or disrespecting bullish or bearish PD rays, is I look at CE a lot. So CE of order blocks as well as CE of fair value gaps. So especially higher time frame ones. And you can see here we never actually closed below CE. We were rejecting it beautifully, right? So let's keep working down the time frames. So actually this is something that could trick people, right? So we did have this displacing closure, right, on the 4 hour, but we are at all-time highs. Everything else is higher time frame, is super bullish higher time frame, right? We have SMTs, we have OBs rejecting, we found that CEs being rejected as well of this 4 hour fair value gap right there. Let's go down to the hourly. Let's see what else. So like this is the main thing. This displacement can sometimes trick people. But the main thing is always trade with the higher time frame. So 4 hour, daily, weekly. It's so bullish, so bullish, so bullish. 4 hour, yes, we have some displacement, but then again, what did we wick into? We wicked into, this is like a 15-minute. Let's see here. Hold up, hourly. Wicked into, this is also a hourly breaker block right here. And what happened? Rejected right away. And also CE of that breaker holding. We never closed below CE. Right there. And this breaker, like this, you could use it however you want. Low, high, lower low. Yes, it is a lower low because there's a SMT. SMT counts as a lower low. Took out liquidity, ran higher, displaced, tapped into that breaker, right? Tapped into that structure to the left. Basically like the resistance kind of, or like the support, if you want to look at it that way, like straight up. It's the only structure here to the left. So when I see us tap into it, I then look, all right, is there a breaker block? Yes, there is a breaker block. And then we had this reaction out, as well as this is aligned with the CE of the 4 hour fair value gap. So let's keep working down the time frames. I had my target here. We had an unfilled 15-minute fair value gap above, which top ticked our take profit. And also, what else do I see right here? A SMT on the 15-minute time frame right there at that low, right? So breaker being rejected, SMT on the 15-minute. We have an unfilled 15 above. We have CE of the 4 hour. And also look at the 15-minute. See how we're holding the CE here? Yes, we did start closing below it here, but closer to the current price, you can see the strong rejections of CE. So you can like treat CE like a very important level here. So you can see the wicks out that we had. Let's go down to the 5-minute. And on the 5-minute, what I saw here was this range, right? From this low to this high, pretty obvious range. Also, I did pull my fib before from this range to this high. So first thing, what do we see? Let's look at the first range. We'll look at the higher time frame range. What are we kind of trading inside right now? We're trading inside of bullish golden pocket. This isn't the best range because it's not really being respected the best. But you can kind of see right here, like the wicks out of that golden pocket, just like that. Here we did disrespect it, but this is why I then scaled down to that lower range. So if we look at the 5-minute range, just low to the high, right there. Now you can see how we're really rejecting golden pocket of this range, right? You can see the strong wicks out of OTE, strong wicks when we tapped into OTE right here, as well as we tapped into CE. We got a strong rejection out. And this was the SMT right here that we had. So SMT on the 5-minute. Right there. Good. And this was in golden pocket of the range. I was bullish. We had an unfilled 15-minute for value gap above, which was my main target, as well as just a market maker buy model. And let's also pull a fib here. Let's see the 1 minute. I'm gonna get rid of this. She will leave this. This is the breaker, by the way. You can see how we're still respecting it, right? And once we got this SMT right here, let's see, hold up. So first of all, we already had a SMT with the 15-minute sell side. So after we had this run higher, I actually really liked how we left this unfilled 15-minute above. And then I was basically waiting on this retracement, right, into golden pocket, into OTE, this blue zone here, 0.62 to 0.79, and this is the OTE, 705. And you can see the reaction that we had off 705 right there as well. But yeah, pretty much after we had this run higher, I was then waiting for price to retrace, right? It retraced. Then what am I waiting for? I'm waiting on an SMT. So I don't care that we're running here. I'll wait on my SMT. Boom. SMT is in. Once the SMT is in, then I start looking for my entry. Entry right here. I took this off. I don't even know. I was on the 15 second, but you could have taken this off at any time frame. The 15 second, the 1 minute, or the 30 second as well. So let's just say we're taking it off the 1 minute, for example. Boom. What am I waiting on? We have the SMT, right? SMT's in. Also, another thing, look at what this wicked into. Wicked into OTE, wicked into CE, and look at this strong ass wick out. Instant displacement out. So that gave me really high confidence to enter. So, and actually the way that I scaled into my position here was really, really good because we ended up getting our 1 to 2 right where we wanted to, or else we would have been holding hella drawdown right now still. So originally when I hopped into this trade, I had a bit looser of a stop loss at this SMT low. But then while I was in the trade, I realized that my main target is right here, this 15, right? So if we try to aim for more, it would probably get hit break even. Like you can see, we're probably going to get hit break even if we didn't scale in, or if I didn't scale in. So this is actually something you guys can do as well. But I noticed that my target's right there, this SMT's in, and also I had the looser stop just because I entered very quickly. Then I also noticed this is also a nice liquidity sweep right here, protected low. So actually once price was kind of trading at my entry right here, I scaled in another position right here when we retapped, and I was looking at my contract sizing sheet. Let's see right here. So originally I entered with a 15-point stop, right? So I was in with 16 MNQs, but if I wanted to, make my stop a bit tighter at this SMT, because this was also a liquidity sweep, so it was a very protected low, and then our 1 to 2 ended up being right here. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how I added to that position while I was in the trade. So what I did was, my original stop was like 15 points around. I went in with the 15-point stop here, so 16 contracts. But while in the trade, I wanted to adjust my stop. You can only really add to a position, in my opinion, when one, you're either a bit in drawdown, or you're a bit like right at your entry. That's the only way that I'll ever add to a position, if it's right at my entry pretty much, or else it'll mess up the total risk to reward. If you're deep in drawdown, never add to a position. If you're like right here, you could, but it really, really depends. If you already have a stop loss set in place that's good and you're in with the correct contracts, then there's no reason to add ever. But yeah, pretty much what I did, I was in with a 15-point stop. So 15 points, 16 contracts. But then after realizing that my stop loss should be a bit tighter, I then wanted my stop to be 10 points, right? So what did I do? 25 contracts minus 16, 9. So I needed to add 9 contracts to my position, right? And once price was bouncing around my entry here, right when it hit my entry, I then added those 9 contracts. And also, I'll show you guys what the executions look like. 1 second. Let me send it to myself. I'm going to show you guys what those executions look like when you add to a position. And by adding to that position, I avoided, I don't know how you guys played this, but I avoided getting hit break even. This would have been a break even if my stop would have been so loose, but it hit my target. Perfect TP closure. Also here the executions, by the way. But yeah, let me show you guys my accounts executions. Hold up. Sending it to myself. Alright, let's take a look at my accounts executions. 1 second. What was that? I don't know what that was. Alright, hold up. Let's take a look at this. Right here. So you can see how I kind of scaled in right there to then get that tighter stop loss. And overall, it gave the 1 to 2 at my TP right there perfectly, because I added a bit more size and tightened my stop loss. So my risk was 500, but now my stop was tighter because I added a bit. But yeah, let's see, lower, higher, low, doesn't really matter. Hold up. Better entry deep in drawdown, then I wouldn't take it now. If you're deep in drawdown, you'd never want to add. Nah, just hold your position. Protected low is just a low that's taken out, like a SMT or a liquidity sweep. That's all it is. Yeah, and it's a low that I'm predicting that price doesn't really want to come back to. Like this low down here, we had the SMT, so it's protected, as well as it had a nice wick out. It had the CE rejection, OT rejection. So yeah, any questions about this trade? 2 p.m. open low. Here are the confluence as well. Buy model. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. If not, then that's pretty much it. We'll journal this as well. Just journal it. Yeah, that's why we put our stop there. Yeah, so the SMT is where I always put my stop loss, because it's the protected low. It's as long as my draw is correct, more times than not, price will not retrace to that SMT low. And I've tested this over years and years of back testing, that it's literally my favorite spot to ever put a stop loss. I don't put my stop anywhere else, because even like for liquidity sweeps, I don't like putting my stops at the wick. But if it's a SMT, that's like the safest spot that I've found over my time trading that is protected. And as long as the draw is good, more times than not, it won't reach down into there. Damn, and I just realized that I made too much cash on one of my accounts, so I'm gonna have to lose $700 on it. That's crazy, bruh. So I can only make, I have this one prop firm that you can only make 1K a day because they have consistency. So funding ticks. Dude, that sucks. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know. Or like, I totally forgot. Yeah, wow. That's annoying. Alright, whatever. That's a good problem to have though. I gotta lose 700. So I'll probably just short right now. That's what I'll do. But yeah. Let's see this. But yeah, is there any final questions? Alright, no questions. So yeah, I'm gonna catch you guys, and yeah, till next time, peace out. Make sure to backtest. I think we'll have a backtesting session maybe tonight, tomorrow, something like that. Yeah, definitely one tomorrow. I might do an extra one today. We'll see tonight. It'll probably be late night for sure. Oh yeah, if you can make it, then make sure to pull up. And yeah, catch you guys. Peace out. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, hold up, let me get my recording. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're still struggling in your trading, you're not where you want to be, then there is a link where you can apply to work with me one-on-one. It is the first link in the description, I believe. Also, this was the Asia trade that I took last night if you want to check out this recap. Sir, yes sir. So yeah, what was I saying? I'm tripping right now. Oh yeah. If you're not where you want to be in your trading and you want to work with me one-on-one, I actually guarantee to work with you one-on-one until you're funded over 6 figures with prop firms and until you start to receive your first ever payouts. If you're interested in that, then you can fill out this form. You can see if we're a good fit to work together. If we're a good fit to work together, then I'll give you a call. I'll reach out to you and we can talk details. And yeah, also if you want to live trade with me every single day, that's where I actually executed this trade on live stream. Right in my entry, everybody saw my analysis. I did my entire analysis before this trade as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys are new here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more. Beautiful way to end off the week. This was a PM session on a Friday, so 2 p.m. framework. And this is the thing with my model. Once you get down my model, it doesn't matter. I know some people say like, dude, 2 p.m. on a Friday, dude, price action's gonna be bad. But honestly, it's a skill issue. It really is. With my model, you can get a trade in at any time of the day. Like I was talking about this before. Once you really get down the model is what I mean. Like once you get down the model, I recommend to trade it in between my specific kill zones, which are 10 to 11, 2 to 3 p.m. or 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern. But once you get down the model, literally like last night, I made a rack in, this was 10 p.m. So that was right before I went to sleep. I saw a really nice setup and I executed it right there. Literally almost the same setup as today, actually. Very similar, very, very similar setup to today. But yeah, this was in Asia. If you want to see a trade recap for that, that's uploaded from yesterday. But yeah, overall, once you get down this model, you can really catch a trade in any session, like any time of the day, pre-market, whatever. Asia, I love trading Asia, honestly. It's one of my favorite sessions. I'll give you guys some sauce right now. The SMTs in Asia are very, very powerful. And once you understand them, once you find out what the good SMTs are, that's when you can really start to become very, very consistent. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to catch you guys until next time. Peace out. Love you all. Have a good weekend. And yeah, make sure to backtest. Do not skip your backtesting. Do not skip it. But yeah, peace out.